Okay, so now we are going to, before we enter chapter 15.56 and 7, I'm going to cover a bit of 15.4. The part that has not been explained in the previous video lah. Okay, so now let's look at this. The process of fertilization. So I already told you, fertilization is when the nucleus of the sperm, okay, it fused with the nucleus of the ovum. So now, still remember I told you at here, this part, the very top part, okay, at the head of the sperm, there is one thing called as the acrosome. So do you see the ovum? I use another color. Yeah? The ovum actually has a layer of membrane here, correct? So that is why the sperm will need to have acrosome to release lysozyme so that it can penetrate through the ovum, okay, the membrane of the ovum, so that the nucleus can reach the nucleus of the ovum. Understand? So fertilization can occur when one out of the millions of sperm succeeds in penetrating the secondary oocyte in the fallopian tube. Okay, so this is followed by changes to the secondary oocyte's membrane that prevents penetration from other sperm. Maksudnya, if this sperm is strong enough to penetrate through, so do you see the blue color here, the membrane of the ovum? It will have it will have changes. So these changes is going to prevent the other cells from entering. They cannot enter anymore. Understand? So maksudnya kalau ada satu sahaja, walaupun satu sahaja sperm yang berjaya masuk ke dalam ovum, yang lain dia tidak dapat masuk lagi lah, sebab dia punya membrane tu dia akan ada changes, okay, chemical changes. So fertilization occurs when the sperm nucleus fuse with the ovum nucleus to form a diploid zygote. Okay, so sperm is N. I cannot write like this. The sperm is haploid, ovum haploid. So when they fuse together, they form a diploid. Now this is human development for embryogenesis, but this one, the title you don't need to study. What I want to tell you is the words that you use. First, zygote. Zygote, it means this zygote, it means when the fertilization occurs, after fertilization. Then embryo is the one that growing. Then fetus is when you can see the shape, but it's not yet. It's already mature. You can already see the shape, the bodies of the baby. And then the baby is the one that you know lah, the big baby. Okay? Okay, this is the terms that you need to take notes and then try to understand. But no worries, we're going to see into deeper. This is just like an overview. Okay, for you to know what is the difference between these terms. Okay, remember the sequence, yeah? Embryo and fetus. Do you see? Embryo is the one that's still growing. Fetus is the one that already have the shape, the body, and then the organs, the structure can be clearly seen. Okay, and the time frames all are like this. But this one in SPN, it won't ask you such detail, but you need to able to differentiate. This is the one important, so I put 3 stars. Now, first you have egg, correct? So do you see there is only one nucleus? So now let's say we have a sperm here. So if the sperm cell, the nucleus of the sperm cell or sperm is successfully entered, what will happen? It will form zygote. Okay, this is the one I told you. Do you see that zygote has 2 nucleus? One from the egg cell, one from the sperm cell. So it will form zygote. So this zygote is later going to divide. Okay, divides into 2-cell stage, 4-cell stage. Okay, because you know, this is okay. This part is fertilization, correct? Because fertilization means the nucleus combine together. How about this part? From 1 cell become 2 cell, it is mitosis. 2 cell become 4 cell, mitosis. Okay, it will keep on dividing, you know. It will keep on dividing, you see, mitosis. So, many times until it form morula. Okay, but before this, do you know why zygote can form 2 cell, 4 cell, and then 6? Actually, it will be 8 cell, 16 cell, but it just does not listed. It's because mitosis you should have known. 1 cell it will divide into 2. 2 cell it will divide into 4. So that's why you get this. Okay. Then after it keeps on dividing, you get morula. Morula is a bowl of dense cells. You can see a lot of cells. Then what is the difference between blastocyst and morula? Okay, blastocyst is when these cells start to arrange. Okay, do you see some of the cells they arrange at the inner side? Okay, the inner bottom side. Some of them they arrange themselves at the outer layer as the membrane. So, okay, this is actually what we call as cavity, but not important lah. Okay, as in not important for you, right? It's important for the baby, the development of the baby, but it's not important in your syllabus. Okay, so yeah, once again, this is when the cell divided a lot, then you have a dense layers of cells. Then when the cells arrange, it becomes blastocyst. This one told you fertilization. Now, if let's say this sperm successfully go into it, the other sperm will not be able to enter it anymore. Then, when it has fertilization, it forms zygote. Zygote go mitosis, it becomes 2 cell, then 4 cell, then become 8 cell, then become 16 cell. Then a lot more, they become morula. So you see, morula is like when it has a lot of cells already, but when they have the arrangement, you can see they arrange themselves already. They have different alignment. It is known as blastocyst. Then it keep on growing until become embryo. Then embryo will become fetus. Now, some of the book, depending on the regional practice, okay, some of the place or some of the workbook they use fetus, and some of the reference they will use fetus. Okay, so they both bring the same meaning, but you need to know what is fetus lah. This is the one I keep on repeating. Zygote when after fertilization. Morula when it has a lot of cells. Blastocyst, okay, is the one that has been arrangement, have the alignment, then it goes embryo, then go fetus, then go baby. So, early development of an embryo until implantation. So when it travels down the fallopian tube, so this is the fallopian tube, right? So you have the wall here. Okay, so when traveling down the fallopian tube, the zygote will undergo multiple division through mitosis. Then the first cell division produce 2 cells, 2 cells produce 4 cells, 4 cells produce 8 cells, and then produce a morula. Okay, now, early development of an embryo until implantation. So, this morula is then transferred into blastocyst when it has the alignment arrangement, then implant in the endometrium. So, still remember where is the endometrium? So, this is the one I draw just now. Where should I put that? Here? No, I should put here. Okay, so this is the endometrium, correct? The wall. So, what is implantation? This process is called implantation. What is implantation? It means when it becomes blastocyst, it will actually somehow like a stick. Okay, it will stick to this wall and implant in it. Okay, maksudnya dia akan lekat dekat dinding endometrium. Faham? When it dekat dinding tu, when it stick to the wall, so this process is called implantation. And then blastocyst grows into the embryo. So that is why the endometrium is the part where the babies grow lah. Okay? This picture shows you how implantation occurs. So you see, when it goes, as time goes, it is actually growing, okay, developing, and then this is morula. Now when it becomes blastocyst, implantation occurs. How is it? This is the wall of the endometrium. So this blastocyst, look at here. This is the endometrium, correct? This part. So this blastocyst is going to macam lekat dekat dinding lah. Understand? It will develop into the embryo. Okay? It will stick on the wall. So this is implantation. Okay, this is the one that has been taught, right? So we're going to move directly. Now you have known what is embryo, correct? So okay, I have completed the 15.4, the parts that has not been explained in the previous video, but useful for this subtopic, formation of twins. Okay? Alright, now let's look at 15.5, the formation of twins. Tahu apa itu twins? So twins, kalau dalam BN tu, kembar. So let's see what is twins, yeah? Now, first of all, we look at the process of formation of twins. So twins basically refers to or more children that are born from one pregnancy. Maksudnya dalam satu pregnancy itu, dia akan melahirkan two or more babies that are usually looking similar lah, faham? Kembar lah. So there are two types of twins. Actually, in your syllabus we will study three kinds. Another kind we call as co-joint twins. Okay, so it doesn't matter how many types lah. Yang penting you need to know the name, the characteristic. How does it happen? And then differentiate them. In this subtopic, you need to know all this. Name, characteristic, how does that happen? And for example, how do you get identical twins? How do you get fraternal twins? And you are able to differentiate them. So now let's look at identical. So the words identical already told you. Identical maksud dia sama. So you see the twins, identical twins, usually they will look very similar, mostly the same. Okay, ataupun ada yang totally the same, I tak pastilah. Okay, so this is what you call as identical twins. So what or how does identical twins happen? You only have one ovum fertilized by one sperm. This is the key point. Okay, so now you see the embryo, it will divide into two first before the following process. So these two, when it divides into two embryo, these two embryo is going to grow independently. So after that, it will grow until two baby. So this is baby 1, this is baby 2. Okay, but did you realize that both of these baby, they actually originate from same ovum and same sperm. Did you realize that? So that is why they look identical. Itu sebab mereka nampak macam sama je, because they originate from the same ovum, same sperm. Sama je kan? You punya genetic content is totally the same because you are coming from the same ovum and same sperm. Sorry, I've got some vehicle passing by. It's very noisy. Now, fraternal twins. So fraternal twins, sometimes in one pregnancy can produce two baby. However, you can see here the gender can be different, or their face can be different, or their pattern can be different. For identical twins, right, usually they will have similar kind of emotion, they will similar kind of feelings. But for fraternal, it can be very different, or totally different. It can be. Why? Because here, did you realize what is the difference? It means that two ovum are fertilized. Just now is 1, 1. Now is 2, 2. Two ova, we don't call as ovum. Ovum is singular, ova is plural. So two ova fertilized by two sperm. And then each of them growing into separate baby. How does this happen? Is because for women, they can actually by accident, not by accident, sorry. Clarify, it's not accident, by chance. Okay, there is a chance or there is a possibility, ada kemungkinan untuk release two ovums at one time. Okay, so when this happens, then two babies will grow at the same time, but different. Now, one more thing, I want you to look at this. Did you realize that because these only have one ovum and one sperm, so later they are going to share one placenta. Did you see that? There is only one placenta, okay, shared with two fetus. But for this one, they will have their own separate placenta because there are two sperm, two ovum. So they are going to stick. This is your endometrium wall. Okay, this is the endometrium wall. So just now, only one sperm, one ovum. So it's going to stick like this. Now you have two sperm, two ovum, maybe stick like this. So your placenta, one can be here, one can be here. Placenta 1, this one, placenta 2. Understand? So that's why there has two placentas. So this is the difference. Itu saja, pendek je. This is the difference. These are the differences. Okay, 1, 1. 2, 2, the one that I mentioned. Embryo divides into 2. This one embryo did not divide into 2, just the normal one. One placenta, as I mentioned. Then each fetus has its own placenta. You cannot say fraternal twins have 2. You cannot say have 2. If you say has 2, it's wrong. Kenapa? Because it can be 3. Correct? Have you ever heard about the twins that has 3 numbers? Like my primary school friends, ada 3 punya, tapi dia nampak macam lain sikit lah. Okay, it can have it can have 3. So don't write. You just write each fetus has its own placenta. Understand? Now, identical twins, because they originate from the same sperm, just like I mentioned, same sperm and also same ovum. So, the genetic makeup and physical appearance, maksudnya dia punya genetic content dan dia punya kelihatan tu, dia akan nampak macam similar because they are from the same zygote. But this one they're different because it can totally different. Understand? Now, this sex for identical, now the sex here means gender. Gender. The gender or the sex of both twins is the same, while fraternal it can be the same or can be different. Can be boy-boy, can be boy-girl, can be girl-boy. Understand? This is the co-join. I believe you have come across this. Okay? Come across this kind of either is news or either is the documentations or the videos or some YouTube videos that you might have seen this before. But if you have not seen, then this is the time for you to learn about this. So development of this is what we call as conjoined twins. So these conjoined twins develop when there is an incomplete division. Do you still remember just now for the identical twins, the zygote will divide into like this. Then it produces 1 and 2, correct? Now, do you ever imagine what will happen if this process is incomplete? When this process is incomplete, it results in conjoined twins. Understand? So, although two fetus are formed from the embryo, some of their physical parts are still fused together. Usually the chest, abdomen or buttocks, depending on where does it stop. Okay, like I mentioned, this is zygote, then it become like this, right, just now. And then when it wants to separate, this is the normal one. So this is normal. But if it is incomplete, then it will lead to conjoined. Okay. May also share 1 or 2 internal organs. So let's see. Okay, still have elaboration. Now, you see this one is their head are fused together, but their body part are not. So the life of conjoined twins may be difficult as they must always be together. And do you know that if let's say this one they have both heads separated, so they have their own mindset, they have their own things to do, they have their own thoughts, okay, and they cannot be separated. Some, okay, but some, if their most important organs are not fused together, only certain parts which are minor, they still can separate them through surgery. Now they also do not have any time alone. Their movement are limited due to their physical state. Okay, this is most conjoined twins die before they are born. So kalau dalam badan tu, sometimes is I told you already, right? It's incomplete. So most of time before they are born, sebelum mereka dilahirkan sudah mati. Tapi even they dilahirkan, they will also have short lifespan. Okay. However, they may be able to separate through surgery, but the success of surgery depends on the joint part. Kalau contohnya lah otak tu yang combine, they only share one brain. How are you going to separate one brain? Correct? You cannot say, because you only can function normally when you have one complete brain. You cannot say I cut into half. The left brain I give to maybe the sister, the right brain give to another one. Cannot, because you know that left brain and your right brain, they have their own function. Correct? And then also depends on the internal organs lah. And joint part. Okay? Itu je. So now, you see, it's very short, 10 minutes we finish one subtopic. So now, we are going to use another 10 minutes, I guess, to finish 15.6, the health issue related to the human reproductive system. Apakah health issue? We always learn about the health issue because this is biology class. So for every subtopic, for every topic you will study. Okay, one of the reproductive system punya health issue, impotency. Apa maksud impotency? So, accused when a husband and wife are unable to conceive. Apa maksud conceive? Unable to get pregnant or provide pregnancy. Understand? Kalau lelaki yang ada masalah impotency, maksudnya their sperm have problem. They cannot make the woman pregnant. Understand? If they want to give birth to a baby, they cannot because the sperm quality not good. Maybe. If for the female, maybe because of dia punya uterus ke endometrium has some problems, so that they cannot fully, they cannot really conceive lah. Maksudnya they cannot get pregnant. Okay? So this cause, the cause of this might be from the husband or wife of both. Itu saya cakap. Unable to conceive is not only about women, but for boys also can be the reason. Now, apa sebab kalau we have male impotency? Apa sebab kalau the male cannot provide pregnancies to the woman? First, the testes do not produce sperm. Boleh jadi. Very easy to understand, right? I don't ask how to say. I don't explain in detail. Low quality sperm. Maksudnya the male has sperm. They will produce sperm, but it is low quality or abnormal. Contohnya low quality apa? The sperm, they need to swing, correct? They need to swing to the the woman's uterus. So some of the sperm they are very low quality that they cannot really swing, they cannot really move. Yang macam we said mobile is the one that can move. So dia macam kurang energy untuk move. And also some of them, you know that for sperm, we have the three main part: the head, the midpiece, the tail. Correct? So, abnormal maksudnya mungkin dia tak ada midpiece, dia tak ada tail, dia tak ada kepala. Tak kisahlah dia tak ada mana-mana. As long as they are abnormal, so they cannot produce a good baby lah. Okay? Or they cannot make the woman pregnant. Now, erectile dysfunction maksudnya dia ada masalah dengan sexual organ, which is the penis. Okay, it can be the penis part and so on. They cannot erect properly, so it will cause difficulties in sending or in delivering the sperm into woman's uterus. Understand? So this is about the sexual organ lah. It cannot be erected properly. Low sperm count maksudnya for each sexual intercourse, it only produce a little je. You know, for sperm, they can found like maybe millions, maybe. You need to double check the data, but it's about like, I think it's 50 plus million. Okay? So if the sperm count too low, maksudnya dia kurang je, maybe from 50 millions become 500. Contohnya, this is extreme, but I show you this extreme example so that you know. You only have 500 per ejaculation. So this has a very low chance of getting the woman pregnant because some of the sperm they might die, some of the sperm they might swing to the wrong direction and so on. We do not know. Okay, so that's why normally the sperm count is very high to increase the chance of getting pregnancy. Understand? How about female impotency? So for female impotency, ovary will do not produce secondary oocyte. It's just like the man lah. Kalau man, testis does not produce sperm. Kalau woman, ovary do not produce secondary oocyte. Abnormal uterus, this part, mungkin abnormal. Mungkin the muscles cannot be grown too strong, then it's very fragile, it can easily drop off, leading to miscarriage. Hormonal imbalance, you know that for this one you need to have estrogen, you also need to have progesterone. Correct? Then blocked fallopian tube. This tube, sometimes some people, we do not know what can happen to our body. Sometimes this, okay, let's say this fallopian tube, I draw bigger so that you can see. It can be blocked, you know. So the ovary producer, this is the ovary, and this is the blockage. So it cannot pass through, it cannot go here. You know that the fertilization occurs at the fallopian tube, correct? This is the fertilization. So if it cannot reach the part of where fertilization occurs, can the woman get pregnant? No. Understand? Then growth in the uterus. Mungkin lah uterus ni tak kukuh sangat ke, the muscle cells are not that strong to hold the baby. So halfway, miscarriage. Understand? Now, treatment for impotency. So whenever we have health issue, for human being, they always like to find treatment, the ways to solve it. So what is the way to solve it? Hormonal imbalance can be treated with hormonal therapy. Okay, for example, the estrogen. Still remember testosterone? We are towards the end of the chapter. You should remember. This is for male, estrogen, female, and then progesterone. Female. Boleh? Now, blocked fallopian tube or blocked sperm ducts can be treated via surgery. They use surgery. In vitro fertilization can be used who has blocked fallopian tubes. Okay, now IVF. What is IVF? IVF is that, have you seen about scientists doing something on a what we call as petri dish? Petri dish. Okay, it's not exactly to be in petri dish, but this is just an example. So if you have seen, a lot of scientists, they will do culture things. They want to grow bacteria, they want to grow some plants, they want to grow something. They will use this petri dish. So what happened in IVF is that the scientists can actually take out sperm from male's body, or the sperm can be, how to say, you can prepare the sperm outside the body and take out the ovum, fertilize outside the body. Understand? I think I want to show you where. Okay, so let's see. This is the one I mentioned just now. I stopped halfway so that I can find some interesting one for you. Now, first, how do we do in this in vitro? The in vitro fertilization. First, you have this ovary stimulation. Maksudnya, they want to stimulate the release of ovum. Release of ovum. Now, what will happen? The egg is picked out. You see, they use the technology to extract the ovum here. Then they prepare the sperm. Maksudnya, that is what I mentioned to you just now. Take out the sperm, take out the ovum. Then you see there is a medium outside the body. They fertilize it outside the body. This is outside the body. Understand? Then, okay, you see, it can also using a needle. Susah nak bagi you tengok. Do you see this? Oh, okay, it's okay. Do you see this? This is actually the needle. They inject the sperm directly into the ovum. So if you are interested, you can go and see the video. Search in vitro fertilization or IVF at YouTube. You will see a very amazing thing. Okay, and then, okay, now you have the fertilized egg. You put it back to the endometrium, or uterus. If the endometrium and the uterus is not the main problem, understand? If the woman cannot conceive, not because of the endometrium, maksudnya endometrium yang normal, then you can put it back. Okay? If endometrium has problem, they have other treatment lah. Maybe they grow the babies outside the body ke, or they find the what you call as the like a mother yang ganti dia untuk pregnant lah. Alright, now last. So 15.7 is also a very famous SPM questions that the question always like to ask lah in this chapter. So make sure you need to understand. This one is logic. Dia tak susah tapi logic je. But you need to really understand. Okay, pay attention to the logic. Okay, if not, it's not difficult to study this topic. Okay, now growth in organism is irreversible, permanent. Maksudnya kalau you have grown into an old man, can you become young again? No. So it's irreversible and permanent. Okay, contohnya, if you have grown until 153, you are not going to turn back to 143. Understand? You will stay permanently 153. Kalau lah. Okay, it involves the increase in the number of cell size, volume, and the weight. Growth also involves differentiation and cell specialization, as well as specializing the shape and function of cells. Okay? Then growth in organism is important for development and maturation. This is like general lah, why growth is important. So how are we going to measure? You jangan cakap guna mata je. Okay, you are now science student. You cannot guna mata je. Everyone has different eyes. So everyone can say, oh, you can say this one has grown a lot. Another person might say, oh, this one grow a bit je leh. Kalau pandangan dia. So we cannot just say using the eyes. So how do we measure growth? We use parameters. Parameters macam benda, agenda yang kamu akan take note of or take observation of, so that you can measure it. Understand? So here, what are the parameters? The question might use the word parameters. Jangan confuse. Don't see the word parameters and then you don't understand, you cincai give answer. So, parameters is the increase in size or volume. One of the parameters. Okay, example, change in height or length of an organism. So that's why we measure what? We measure the height. Understand? So that is one of the parameter. Or change in the fresh wet. Okay, we measure from one stage to another, right? We always, in Sega, you also always measure your wet. Okay, so if you grow, of course, your muscle become bigger, your bones become stronger. That's why your wet will also become what? Become greater. Understand? It's impossible for an adult to have wet less than a baby, unless they have the disease lah. Okay, so this is how we measure the growth. Now, change in fresh wet or dry wet. Have you heard about the word dry wet? I rasa you tak pernah lah, because seldom. In daily life, we also seldom use the word dry wet. Now, dry wet refers to the wet of organism after all the fluid is removed. So how do you remove all the fluid? It has it has been dried in the oven at 100 degrees Celsius repeatedly. Lagi sama yo ni. Kesian kan, it's very cruel. So, have you realized something here after this statement? Can you measure the dry wet of an organism when they are alive? Can you? The answer is, I'm actually pausing to wait for your answer. Don't think that I'm lagging. It's not lagging, I'm waiting for your answer. So the answer is totally no lah. Understand? Because you see, it has been dry in the oven at 100 degrees Celsius. It's like you're putting if you want to measure the dry wet of human, you need to put the human into the oven, cook it, okay, until the wet remain the same. So for every time they put into the oven and dry, maybe the first time you'll get 500 gram. Example. Then next time you'll get 450 gram. What is the 50 gram gone? Where does the 50 gram gone? The 15 gram is the water or the fluid. Then the next time become 430, 425, 425, 425. Then 425. So which is the dry wet? 425 is the total dry wet. Now the weakness of the parameter, this dry wet, is that the organism has to be killed, so it's not suitable for plant. Tak mungkin kan you want to measure the dry wet. You want to measure once you kill the organism or the plant once, and then you kill again, you want to measure, you kill again. No, it's too cruel or it's not practical. So seldom. Fresh wet can be taken whenever an organism do not need to be killed. Okay, fresh wet. However, it can be influenced less accurate because the amount of fluid can be dependent on the organism fluids intake. For example, now if I want to take your fresh wet, and in the morning you drink a lot of Milo, you drink a lot of water, you keep on drinking because you are too thirsty. So of course the wet is not that accurate because some of the wet it comes from the water that you drink. This parameter is measured for a certain amount of time. Now, how about growth of insect? Now, after we have looked at growth of humans, remember growth of human, if the question asks what are the parameters, you can set the size, the height, what else, the weight. Okay? Now, growth of insect, how are we going to see? So, organism with exoskeleton, you baru belajar je dalam chapter 14. So, it will undergo growth differently. There will be two main kinds. We can actually differentiate them into two main kinds, which are complete and incomplete metamorphosis. Later we're going to see. So which are complete and incomplete. Understand? So what is the difference? Now look at this diagram. So complete and incomplete metamorphosis. Let's look at complete first. So for complete, you see we start from the egg. So after that it will turn larva, then it goes pupa, then it goes adult. So if it undergoes complete metamorphosis, you will see it has a pupa. It will change the structure, the bentuk badan dia, okay? The bentuk badan akan berubah. Did you see that? Did you realize the larva is not the same structure like the adult? Because the pupa stage, they will change the style, correct? Then after that, let's look at this. We have egg, then ning. Ning maksudnya is the young insect lah. Okay, young insect. You see, they grow in size, then grow into adult. But do you realize they're actually having similar body shape? So this is the difference. They don't undergo a stage called as pupa that change the body shape, correct? Just like caterpillar lah. Caterpillar, pupa, then go butterfly, correct? So I will leave it to you. Tell me, this caterpillar, pupa, and butterfly, this is complete or incomplete? Okay, after you have answered, go and search on Google. Okay, to see what is that. Understand? Because Google will tell you a lot of additional informations. Okay, that I do not want to spend much time. If I explain now, later this video is going to be maybe 2 hours ke apa lah, terlalu panjang. Oh, okay, it's here. Okay, then it's okay. For example, here, insects like butterflies undergo complete metamorphosis. So there are 4 different stages of growth, which are egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Okay, so the most obvious one is they change their body shape, correct? Did you realize the larva here is actually the caterpillar lah? Did you think that caterpillar is having the same body shape like butterfly? No. So kalau dia berubah, maksudnya dia complete metamorphosis. Now, metamorphosis, this word actually maksud dia is the change in body shape. So, kalau complete maksudnya it has a total complete change. Kalau incomplete maksudnya dia sikit je lah. Sikit in terms of what? In terms of size je lah. Dia jadi besar sikit, mungkin ada dia punya apa tu? It has the wings a little bit only. It's not that obvious. But for complete, it will have a great change. Here you go. So you have egg. Then caterpillar. This is the larva. Okay. Then after that, it will turn into a pupa, then grows into the butterfly. Can you see? It is so much different. So this is complete metamorphosis. Understand? How about grasshopper? Grasshopper itu yang saya bagi tahu you tadi. You start from egg, then you have a ning, the young insect. We call as ning, young insect, the not yet mature one. Okay, or the immature. They are the immature one. So apa beza? They grow in size, and then this is the one that I mentioned. No wings, but now you have wings. So dia sikit sahaja perubahan dari segi bentuk badan. Tetapi it's not the main one, not the obvious one. It's still having the same body appearance. Now grasshopper will undergo incomplete metamorphosis, where the insect undergoes a few stages of EDCs before becoming an adult. Egg, ning, adult. 3 stage. Kalau complete, 4 stage. Okay? Kalau 4 stage tu egg, larva, pupa, adult. Boleh? So this is another example, the diagram illustrating incomplete metamorphosis. Okay, now we want to study about the growth phase. This is a very logic graph and a very famous question in SPN, Ted Not. You need to at least know how to draw, and then you need to identify what is the name of each phase. Understand? But it's very logic lah. Not that x-axis, maksudnya this one is 0, this one maybe is 100. Okay, maybe lah 100 years ke apa lah, tak tahu lah. It depending on the animals. If the animals can live up to 50, is maybe 50 je lah dia punya time. Kalau like human, generally like 80 to 100 ke apa. So depending on the animals. Then growth. Okay, growth can be increase in the apa? Increase in the body size, increase in IQ ke, increase in weight, and so on. So now growth phase in cymoid. This is what we call as cymoid. Cymoid growth curve. Cymoid growth curve, it looks like this. Understand? Cymoid. Sekali lagi cymoid. This is cymoid. Cymoid. Okay? So the growth curve is achieved by plotting growth parameter. So I told you already what can be the growth parameter? The size, the height, the weight, and so on against time. Time depending on the organism. Kalau pokok boleh live out to very long, so your x-axis the value different lah. Most organism growth curves will show a similar pattern, that is sigmoid curve, which is an S shape, but it's not totally an S shape. This S shape is like this one, 1, 2, 3. Understand? It's not the totally S. Growth occurs gradually, maksudnya step by step, slow, and continuously. There are 6 phases. 6 phases in sigmoid curve. You need to remember all of them. This one. You need to remember all of the map, which are the lag phase, exponential phase, stationary phase, maturity phase, senescence, and also death. Now let's look one by one. Now what is lag phase? Lag phase is this part. You need to know how to explain, because exam can ask in essay questions and ask you to draw, okay, the growth. This is growth curve. Remember the name, sigmoid growth curve. Later, inside the question, inside the examination, the question asks draw growth curve. You tak tahu apa pula ini growth curve. It's dangerous. So here, lag phase, the very first one. Growth rate is low because it involves little cell division and cell elongation. Itu you baru dilahirkan sahaja. Understand? It's the phase of adjustment to new sources available in the environment. Because you baru dilahirkan sahaja. Okay, let's say this, you take baby as the example. Okay, can you take human as example? Okay, so this part you are still baby. Do you think that the baby can when just baru saja dilahirkan, do you ever see baby grows into very big size in maybe just 5 months or 6 months? No, right? Usually 3 years or 4 years baru dia nampak dia boleh berdiri, they can eat themselves, and then you can see their face change a lot. Okay, it's not sahaja dilahirkan dia boleh buat macam tu, because there are still the word adapting, okay, or adjustment to the new sources available. Then exponential. Tempat ini exponential is when exponential should be the one that they have go into school. When they go into school is the exponential phase, especially where? Especially in secondary school. Because secondary school is the part where the human hits puberty. At that time they will have highest growth rate, cell division and elongation occurs actively. You know, cell elongation, cell division is from 1 into 2. Cell elongation, from this small, it becomes like this, very big. Organism size increase rapidly. Stationary becomes slow. Means what? Because the cell have reached the maximum size. Cells undergo differentiation to form specialized cells. So at this phase, the main thing is the cells undergo differentiation. Understand? They form a specialized cell. For example, if you are an athlete, so means that at that point your muscle is very strong. They start to differentiate based on the daily activity. If you are a smoker, then what will change to your body and so on, macam tu. Maturation phase, you can see it stop already. It's not stop. It goes what we call as plateau. Plateau maksudnya you originally is moving, suddenly no more changes. This is what we call as plateau. It's like, it's it goes horizontal, like a straight line, like this. Okay, so this part is like straight line, correct? It's just like the maturation phase here. So here, organism reach maturity, 0 growth rate. Because 0, why 0? Because the line is straight. Okay, there is no change, increase or decrease in growth. So it's 0 growth rate. The rate of cell division is similar to the rate of cell death. Understand? Maksudnya, for example, if you cut your finger, so the new cells that produce is the same as the number of the cell die. You won't produce new cell. Because if you want to grow in size, you are going to produce new cell, correct? But in this case, you are not going to produce any new cell. You are not going to grow taller, you are not going to grow longer, you are not going to grow bigger. Unless you makan banyak. There is obesity, there is not increase in size as in you have a lot of lemak. It's not increase in the number of cells, understand? Okay, then senescence phase, negative growth. Okay, so this is normal for human. When you grow until a peak, stop, then it will go down. Okay, it will go down. So this part, when it starts to grow down, it's not that obvious, but later you will see a very obvious going down. Can you see this? This part is like not that obvious, but this part is very obvious. So how you differentiate? The one that decrease slowly is the senescent. Okay, this is the senescent. This is the death. Understand? So negative growth rate organism goes through aging. So as time goes, as time passes, the aging, when people age, the cells will start to die, degenerate. Some cells they cannot reproduce anymore. So negative growth rate. Okay. Death, aging lah, health, illness, lack of nutrients eventually will lead to the death of an organism. The cell keeps on decreasing. Okay, the cells keep on decreasing until what? Until the body cannot function normally. Then the human will die. Same goes to, this is a general pattern. Okay, same goes to other organisms. Okay, last. This is the last part already. So yeah, bear with me for a little while. You can pause the video and go see a copy first. Okay, now, if you are ready, let's go. Intermittent growth curve of animal with exoskeleton. Just now, for human is sigmoid. You need to remember the name as I told you. Sigmoid growth curve. This is for human or for certain organism. How about for animal with exoskeleton? They will have a growth curve known as intermediate growth curve. I want you to remember the name. You need to remember the name because this can be asked in exam questions. What is the name of the growth curve of animal with exoskeleton? It's the intermittent. If you write sigmoid growth curve, silent. So we have two kinds of growth curve. One intermittent, one sigmoid. Insects such as grasshopper have an exoskeleton made out of chitin, a kind of substance. The exoskeleton does not grow proportionally with the growth of the insect. Maksudnya, if this increase in size, do you think this will increase in size? No. The shell is hard. The shell will not increase in size. So it cannot, it's like it's preventing from you to grow bigger. So how? To allow growth and development, exoskeleton must shed their hard exterior. Maksudnya dia macam keluarkan lah dia punya pakaian tu. Okay, the hard shell or the hard exoskeleton. Now, intermittent growth curves of animals with exoskeleton, the molting, the process we call as molting. Maksudnya they shed off the hard they shed off hard exoskeleton. That allows growth and development of insect called adhesives. Okay, this shedding off of hard exoskeleton is called molding. But the molding that enables the animals to grow in size is called adhesives. So it means that whenever you see the word adhesives, it means it grows in the body size. It becomes bigger. Understand? So this process is controlled by hormones. Let's see. I told you, if they shed off their body skeleton, it's called molting. If they are molting, their increase in body size is called adhesives. So here, adhesives tells you what? The body size become bigger. So that's why you see every time adhesives, this is body length, correct? This y-axis is body length. Once you have adhesives, you see, they increase maybe 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Do you see that? For every adhesives, they will increase the body size. Axis is the time. Now, the process of adhesives happens periodically. Maksudnya dia bukan selalu ada. For human, the sigmoid curve is like continuous. But for this one, no. The growth rate can be 0, tiba-tiba ada. 0, tiba-tiba ada. 0. So it's like a staircase. Tangga. Polar growth is not continuous and is intermittent. Okay, so this is the polar growth lah. It's not continuous. For sigmoid growth curves, is continuous because you can see dia macam tak putus tau. Macam ni. Okay? But for this one, they can go 0, suddenly increase. 0, increase. So the horizontal part indicates 0 growth. This part means 0 growth. Understand? This part. At this stage, known as instar. So do you see instar 1, instar 2, instar 3, instar 4, instar 5? Adhesis means increase in body size. Kalau instar means no increase in body size. No change at all. Tak ada langsung apa-apa perubahan. So, very easy to remember. Instar, stop. Adhesis, go up. The vertical lines represent rapid growth. At this stage, the knee undergoes adhesis and its size increases rapidly. And then you multiple times then until adult. Once it becomes adult and it's not more knee, maksudnya it's not the immature one, it's already mature, they won't go any more further. Understand? This is adhesis and molting, like a lot of the exoskeleton animals. Okay? How does adhesis happen? How do they shed off their body, hard body exoskeleton then increase in body size? How can it tiba-tiba macam jadi sangat besar dalam body size, right? You can see the increase in size can be rapid, can be tiba-tiba sangat besar. So macam mana tu boleh jadi? A new exoskeleton forms underneath the old exoskeleton. So before the new exoskeleton hardens, the insect will increase its volume by sucking the air to expand its body. Maksudnya, once the molting process occurs, they will quickly inhale the air. They quickly inhale the air. Oxygen ke, the air, they quickly inhale. So they increase in body size. After their exoskeleton have hardened, then they cannot increase in size anymore. Understand? This action breaks the old exoskeleton because their body size increase ma. So the old exoskeleton breaks, and the insect with new exoskeleton emerge. Insect will expand its body one more time before the new exoskeleton hardens. So one time, 2 times one time to break off the old exoskeleton. Second time, increase in body size before new harden. Okay, now adhesis. The stages between adhesis are called instar, and in this stage, the instar and the insect is known as ning. So I told you, ning is the immature insect. So during instar, the insect is actively building tissues and increasing body volume. Okay, it's not the mature one lah. Kalau dia mature dah henti. That's all. We finally complete the whole Form 4 syllabus, and congratulations, you have come to the end of Form 4. Form 4 KSSM Biology. Okay. So if you have any question, you are still feel free to ask me lah. Ask me the questions. But make sure you need to do revision. As you can see, there is a lot of interrelation between the chapters. Okay. And this chapter they are logic, but then it's very hard to understand the concept. Especially I know the menstruation. Okay, menstruation part is the most difficult part. So take your time and bye bye. See you after school holidays. Yeah.